Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful day and we're going to do some work on the Dodge Charger. We're going to incorporate some of your feedback from the engine build series by installing the JLT intake. We're going to vent the driver's side valve cover, and we're going to incorporate a few new pieces from CFR Performance. So happy to get into it with you. We're also going to put a few hundred miles on this thing, and I'm going to give you my honest feedback on if I would do this again, things I would do differently. So like, share, subscribe. We'll get into it. We're going to start off on the driver's side by removing this valve cover and all of the coils. Now, in my engine build series, you saw me install a vent over on the passenger side to install this oil catch can. The crankcase needs to be able to breathe, so we need to install something similar on the driver's side and then incorporate it into our new intake. So we'll start off by removing our engine cover, removing our coils, and getting this valve cover off.
When we were trying to start the car prior to the ECUs being programmed.
Feeling much better now that we can vent our driver's side cover. And then we still got our nut right here. And of course, we still got our O-ring on the inside so we can seal off things from going where they're not supposed to go. Sweet, I'll torque that down. We clean this up and get it reinstalled. Thanks to CFR, we are upgrading our Hemi with these new coil covers. And they're perfect for just giving it a little bit more zhuzh. And we've got these 3 on, we're about to bolt them down, but I need to custom cut. And I've got my markings on this one so we can clear our oil fill cover. So I'll just go ahead and do that with my trusty cutoff wheel. We'll be off to the races. And with our engine finally back together, we can turn our attention to the airbox and complete the installation. I've ended up putting the JLT box in here, and now we can run the rest of the intake and the line that comes from here, either into the tube or into this nifty hole that we have right here. Just need to find the right grommet. Now with our box firmly in place, we can take the additional tubing that comes with the kit, wrap it around, and connect it to the outlet as we're connecting it to the throttle body as well. You may have to massage things in place just a smidge. But now that it's in, we can tighten up all of our connections and we're all set. All right, now everything is looking good. Let's start it up and make sure it still runs well.
With everything underneath the hood all dialed in, let me show you what you're going to see on some of our future episodes on the Hell U. We got our main hoop bar in there, and we'll be working on zipping all of that into the structure of the car. If you're ever curious to know what's inside of a cop car after 130,000 miles, it's a bunch of pens, a bunch of toothpickers, like dental floss, cigarettes, and breathalyzer tube, even a car key. Yeah, weird stuff. The hardest part about nailing the Smith Performance kit when it comes to these chargers is that rear surround. So there's additional fiberglass work that we have to do along each side of the seams to kind of add in some more material so we can get that glass tugged in just right. Because we want to create a rear glass surround that mimics how the front windshield is dialed in. So you're taking a look here, you see how you only have this 1/4 inch of material here and it's kind of frameless. We want that same look on the back end. But there's like this much of a gap, my entire thumb's worth, between here and where the glass starts. So we need to fill all that in, reinforce it. Same thing with the other side. I haven't showed it to you all on camera yet, but there is a process for nailing in my third brake light. I'm using one, ironically, off of a Grand Caravan. So we'll get that dialed in a future episode, and I'll catch you all up on how you can get that done if you're looking to do that. I'm traveling across the US. I found these great set of wheels and tires, and they're perfect. They've only been on a car for, it looks like, less than 20 miles. I could not find a deal anywhere like this in Virginia, so naturally, when I came across these, I was already in town. I figured, let's see if we could ship these things back home. Now, the prices to ship these things via UPS or FedEx are right around $700. But if I go with it as my checked bags, I can get away with them for under 400 bucks. Now, the key is each wheel and tire weighs over 50 pounds. So I will be paying an excess weight fee. But because I'm traveling with one other person, I'll have 2 bags for free. She'll have 2 bags for free. And the joys of Southwest allow me to be able to check 2 free bags. So that's why when I travel domestically, I usually use them. But in any case, let's see if we can get these things packaged securely, neat and nice, and then we'll take them to the airport and it'll be smooth sailing after that. If you like these types of videos, consider subscribing. We have a few new builds on the way, and we're finishing up our Hellcat Charger truck. So I'm looking forward to showcasing all of that. It's gonna be even sweeter with these new wheels. And to be able to pack these wheels securely, I am using shrink wrap that I grabbed for 15 bucks on Amazon, 4 Home Depot large moving boxes, and a roll of tape. To find out what boxes are right for you, you have to measure the diameter of the wheel and tire together, as well as the width of it. The width of this tire is roughly 12 inches, and the diameter of it from end to end is 29 inches. So if you add that up, you get 41 inches. So that tells me that the width and the depth of this box has to be bigger than 12 and 29 put together. And it is, we got a couple inches to spare. We also have to be concerned with the height of the box, but we have a little cheat code. This is only 16 inches tall, but we'll be using the flap on the top and the flap on the bottom and add those to give us additional height. So thankfully, when we stand it all up, it's just a little bit taller than that wheel, and we'll be able to get good coverage all the way around. So if you expand this box and try to put it over the wheel, you'll notice that it's just a little bit too small. But we have additional room front to back that we can borrow and make this box wider. There we go. If at all possible, you're gonna wanna get this on the face of the wheel or on the back side of the wheel. That way, when you bring your other flap around, you're not rejoining it at an edge. That's gonna make your package weak. And then once you refold your box, you'll be left with something like this. I put a strip of tape down here just to hold things in place. It's not gonna be what really holds our box together though. We'll put a couple straps of tape across the entire circumference of the box, and then we'll come back with our packaging wrap and wrap the entire thing. After that, we can replicate that for our other 3 tires and we'll be all set. All right, so now I'm headed over to UPS to get them shipped. It ended up costing me 350 bucks to ship all 4 UPS ground. So they'll get there in 2 to 3 days, and it's 150 bucks less than what Southwest would have charged me. So there's a win. And I don't have to worry about getting to the airport and then, you know, they don't see regulations on it. So then they're a little bit scared to allow me to fly with it. But everything from what I heard when I called them, they checked their regulations, they checked TSA regulations, and it was all good. So if you're ended up flying out with smaller wheels, just know that it is something that you can do. All right, so it's a few days later, and we finally got the wheels. All 4 wheels came. They're in really, really good condition. As you can see, I wrapped not only the aluminum face and back, but I also wrapped the rubber just to make sure everything is going to be nice and safe. It only costs a few more bucks, so why not go the extra mile? I'm gonna get these unwrapped. I'm gonna pull the car over here. We're gonna put them on, make sure everything clears, everything looks good, and
We can even start to mock up the wide body fenders and make sure we're all good. Okay, so here's what's going on. The wheels are 22 by 10.5, but they have different offsets. One offset is 20, and I have two of those, and then the other offset is 45. Now think of offset like how far in the face of the wheel is. The larger the number, the further in the wheel. And right now I have 45 on the right rear, and I have another 45 on the left front. And what I'm trying to gauge is which offset should be on the front and which offset should be on the rear. I'm reading a lot of conflicting information online, and not everybody's disclosing whether they have rear wheel drive or all wheel drive. So my best bet is just to do it myself. So if you look, this wheel's a little too far in. So if you had 4 wheels that were all the same offset, you would probably run spacers here to get correct fitment. Because as you can see, the wheel disappears when you're right above it. And if you were to look in, you got maybe like 3/4 of an inch too far in. Now, if you look on this side, you have really, really good fitment. If you're on my Instagram, you would have seen this already. So, if you're not on my Instagram, join Crash and Burn. I'll just put on the rear part of this so you can. And here is what the front looks like. As you can see, it's really, really close. When you're at 90 degrees, it's like 10 millimeter spacers would set this off just right. It's really, really close. I'd probably just run it as it is if clearance is not an issue. So that tells me that the ideal place to put this offset wheel is on the front. So I'm gonna move that rear wheel up front, and I'm gonna put the 2 matching offsets that are inside the garage on the rear. And that way we'll have really good fitment all the way around, and should be all set. And that's it for this week's episode. If you like this content, take a quick moment to like the video, comment how I did, and subscribe if you want to keep up to date on the latest, because next time we're finishing up the wide body conversion, doing the roll cage, and getting everything ready for paint. You're going to like the color that I choose too. On the mechanical side, I'll tackle the fuel starvation issue with a new fuel return system, courtesy of one of our new sponsors. Thanks for watching.